I hope I may be forgiven for taking a few minutes away from the actual music for the purpose of mere speech. Words about music, however, are not always irrelevant, especially if, as in the present case, it is necessary to set the stage, to furnish the background, to establish the appropriate attitudes of mind, feeling, and spirit, for an audience many of whom can have no foretaste of the particular flavor, together with its particular significance, which awaits them on this record. With any food, it is the eager anticipation of our salivary glands which both promises and fulfills the greatest pleasure and comfort equally during and following the meal. When we enter a chapel, or for that matter, on a different level, a nightclub, a particular image excites an appropriate mood. The first image I would like to stress in Indian classical music is that of continuity. Beginning and end are lost in the eternities of past and future. Think of a river as the Ganges or the Euphrates, flowing uninterruptedly for thousands of years, renewed every year and every instant by fresh snows and new constant. So this music, born of mankind's dream of beauty and harmony, evolving in 1,000 shapes, in multitudinous disguises of the same eternal aspiring theme. Unlike the evolution of our own music in recent centuries, which is marked by action and reaction, by towering figures wresting new sounds, new principles of organization from their material, thus reflecting changing conditions of man in society, marked also by the beginning and ends of periods, by cyclical phases which have seen the growth in size, complexity, authority, and control of predetermined detail on the part of composers, orchestras, conductors. Unlike these characteristics of our own past, Indian music has continued unperturbed through 30 centuries and more, with the even pulse of a river and with the unbroken evolution of a sequoia tree. Over these millennia, the 1,000 faces I referred to have taken on a certain order. The Indians have had more time than any other nation for meditation, and they have put it to good use. Most of life's experiences, thoughts, actions, and divinations have their exact time and place, and music is no exception. A system of scales or modes called raga divide the octave in 100 different ways, each suited to the expression of a particular mood. A system of divisions of time, of immensely complex rhythmic structures, define the passage of time which must reconcile the varying pulse of 1,000 different lives. These are called tala. On these basic scaffoldings or skeletons, the performing musicians build their evanescent structures of sound. Each and every performance is largely and often exclusively a free improvisation, while obeying very strict formal rules. We know that the game of chess has very definite rules, and yet each game is different. We know that snowflakes are formed under very particular conditions, yet each snowflake is different, as is each fingerprint. Only recently, and more particularly with the advent of recording, have certain pieces of music begun to crystallize in a fixed shape. Hitherto, tradition, handed down from father to son, from parents to children, has borne the full burden of transmitting most knowledge, skills, art, religion, and so on. As we go back in our own Western history, we can reach a time when our culture was much more similar to the Indian than it is now. In music, modes were dominant. Modulations between keys did not exist. Plain song over a ground bass was the rule. Very small groups singing in unison or in fifths. Only rhythmically, our old music was both more fluid and less complex. But notation was quite free and inexact, and the performer reserved to himself a very large measure of freedom indeed. Word of mouth and example, still the best form of instruction, were the mainstays of continuity. Today, after our long and fruitful, if often painful, digression, today, as always, we have much to learn from a renewed association and understanding of other and Eastern cultures. Our composers, our painters, our architects and designers are finding much valid inspiration in India, in Japan, and no doubt soon again in China. It is time our public was allowed and given opportunities to make this acquaintance. As the president of the Asian Music Circle of London, we have been trying over the past years to bring just this about. I am particularly happy on this occasion to be able to introduce three very distinguished and very remarkable colleagues of mine, three musicians. First, I would like to mention Professor Narayana Swami, professor at the Academy in Trivandrum that bears the name of a great South Indian composer of the past century, Swati Tirunal, one of whose compositions you will hear on this recording. Then Dr. Narayana Menon, also playing the veena, Deputy Director General of All India Radio at Delhi. The veena is one of the oldest stringed instruments in the world, has 7 strings in all, of which 4 are plucked, and 3 serve as both the drone and as a rhythmic basis. The other instrument will be played by Palgat Rakhu. It is the mridanga, the percussion, or the drum. This is another South Indian instrument, which has both the treble and the bass drums in the one instrument. It is played at opposite ends with both hands. My friends will now play for you a piece by Swati Tirunal, this great composer Maharaja of Travancore. It is based on the Bhairavi Raga, which is one of the old traditional ragas of South Indian or Carnatic music, not to be confused with the northern Bhairavi. The scale or mode will be illustrated by Professor Narayana Swami. As you see, it differs in the ascending scale from the descending one. In the ascending scale, it has a major sixth, and in the descending one, a minor sixth. The tala is the Misra Chapu. It is based on a unit of 7 beats, of which the strong accents fall on 1, 4, and 6, and is as follows. I shall beat the first unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Thank you.